Welcome all to IS Pharmacology Difficult Podcast Weekend Classroom. Today it's again Sunday, and we have done two classrooms, one Sunday, last Sunday, and then before that also. So I hope you might be familiar with the concept of this weekend classroom. In case you are not, I will just tell you in quick communication that as you can see in the slide, here we revise, we learn, and we examine or evaluate what we have done throughout the week in our podcast episodes from Monday to Sunday. So without any delay, let's jump into this week in classroom. And the first day we're gonna start from is Monday. So in the Monday's episode, what we did was the drug metabolizing enzymes, and I started off with the microsomal enzymes. First of all, I gave you the site, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum of mainly liver, and they're also found in intestines, kidney, and many other tissues also. And they mainly consist of the mixed functional oxidases, which are abbreviated as MFOs, and also they are also composed of the CYP cytochrome P450 group of hemoproteins, group of enzymes. And then I gave you the basis of why they are called as CYP450, because they combine with carbon monoxide to give a product whose absorption is peak at 450 per centimeter. So that was the whole basis of the nomenclature and the different type of enzymes included in the microsomal enzymes. And after that, I also gave you an account of one of the special enzymes, that is glucuronide transferase is a microsomal enzyme. And then I told you that mostly these enzymes, the microsomal enzymes, they metabolize the phase 1 reactions. And these reactions involve the oxidation, reductions, and hydrolysis reactions. And one of the phase 2 reactions, that is glucuronide conjugation, is metabolized by these microsomal enzymes. And this is the fact that I linked to that glucuronide transferase is a microsomal enzyme. That was that we all did on Monday. Coming over to our Tuesday's episode. On Tuesday, I gave you an account of the different types of isoenzymes, of CYP isoenzymes. And to start off, I told you that there are so many CYP isoenzymes. Out of these, 12 are the most important in human beings. And then I gave you the list of these CYP isoenzymes. And then I told you about the nomenclature of CYP isoenzymes. If the name is CYP2D6, then 2 is the family, D is the subfamily, and 6 is the gene number. Then we started off with CYP3A4 and 3A5 isoenzymes, which metabolize almost 50% of the xenobiotics, that is drugs, that is rather more than 50% of the xenobiotics. And then they are present not only in liver, they are also found in kidney, intestine, and many other tissues also. Then they have their inducers, they have their inhibitors. The main inducers are barbiturates, which are phenytoin, rifampicin, carbamazepine, and the inhibitors include the fluconazole, clarithromycin, erythromycin, fluvastatin, etc., ritonavir also. And then I told you that CYP3A5 is less active than CYP3A4. Now that is what we covered on Tuesday. Coming over to Wednesday, I did few more CYP isoenzymes to account for. Out of them, we started with CYP2D6, which is the next most important isoenzyme, metabolizing almost 25 to 30% of drugs. And the most important aspect, that the people who are genetically deficient in CYP2D6, they cannot respond to the analgesic effect of codeine, because for the conversion of codeine to morphine, this isoenzyme is very, very important. Then we come to the next isoenzyme, that is CYP2C8 and 2C9. Then I told you that it is it metabolizes almost 15 to 20% of drugs. Mostly the drugs, they have low margin of safety. And barbiturates, rifampicin, are the most important inducers. Its inhibitors are less known, and the most important are fluconazole and fluvastatin. Next to account for is CYP2C19. It again metabolizes 12 to 15% of the frequently used drugs, and these drugs include diazepam and omeprazole mainly. Then it is also induced by barbiturates, rifampicin, and the inhibitors are rather unknown. The next important group of isoenzymes was CYP1A2 and 1A1. Only few drugs, they are metabolized by this particular subfamily, which include theophylline, warfarin, clomipramine, and paracetamol through a minor pathway. Now, they are induced by several drugs, including some of the pollutants, that is pro-carcinogens, then smoking, charcoal, broiled meat. They also act as important inducers of these particular group of subfamily of CYP isoenzymes. And the last on the list is the CYP2E1. It metabolizes very few drugs like general anesthetics, halothane, enflurane, etc. It also metabolizes alcohol and paracetamol through a minor pathway. Chronic alcohol consumption induces this particular enzyme. Now, disulfiram inhibits this particular enzyme, and that with this information, we winded up the Wednesday session. Coming over to Thursday, I did about non-microsomal enzyme. Before that, I told you one important fact that drugs like cimetidine, ranitidine, clozapine, etc., they are oxidized their N, P, and O atoms by flavin monooxygenases. And these are located at the hepatic endoplasmic reticulum. They are not susceptible to any sort of induction or inhibition, and therefore they are free from all sorts of drug interactions. And then coming over directly to our non-microsomal enzymes, I told you that they are found in cytoplasm, in mitochondria, and in plasma. The important example of non-microsomal enzymes are monoamine oxidases, esterases, amidases, transferases, and conjugases. Now, most of the reactions of phase 2 reactions, they are catalyzed by these isoenzymes except the glucuronide conjugation. It also catalyzes oxidations, reductions, and hydrolytic reactions, and it shows genetic variations, especially plasma pseudocholine esterase and acetyltransferase. Then coming over to Friday, I gave you an account of again phase 1 reactions, that is oxidation reactions. In that, most important were the microsomal oxidations. They were CYP dependent, and I gave you a very good list of the names of these microsomal oxidations along with their relevant examples. So they are aromatic hydroxylations, aliphatic hydroxylations, NO and S dealkylations, N and O and S oxidations, deamination, and desulfurization. With this, we winded up our Friday session, and on Saturday, we did non-microsomal oxidation and the reduction reactions. So in the non-microsomal oxidations, the most important characteristic was that they were CYP independent, and they included mitochondrial oxidations, cytoplasmic oxidations, and plasma oxidative processes, which are known as oxidative deamination. Then we have the reduction reactions, and the most important were the microsomal reductions, like they included nitro reductions, azo reductions, and keto reductions. And there was only one example which I gave you in non-microsomal reductions, that is conversion of chloral hydrate to trichloroethanol. So with these, we winded up the Saturday session also, and coming over to our last day, that is Sunday. The weekend is about to be over, though I'm recording this episode on Sunday, so I'm sure that my podcast episode is not yet out, and in case it comes after this weekend classroom, do go to my website ispharmacologydifficult.com and listen complete to that episode of Is Pharmacology Difficult Podcast of Sunday, that is 30th of August 2020. So in that, I covered mainly the hydrolysis. In the hydrolysis, first of all, I gave you the basic equation of hydrolysis, which states that ester plus water in the presence of esterases give acid plus alcohol. And similarly, there are amidases and polypeptidases for different groups of drugs. Then I told there were epoxide hydrolysis also. And then I gave you the site of hydrolysis, which mainly occurs in liver, intestines, plasma, and many other tissues. Then I gave you the examples of hydrolyzed drugs. I told you that hydrolysis can be of two types, microsomal and again non-microsomal. The microsomal, they are very rare, and non-microsomal occurs for the esterases and amidases. Then I gave you an account of cyclization and decyclization pathways. They are minor pathways, but cyclizations means formation of a ring, and decyclization means opening of a ring structure. So these were the main points, the headlines of Sunday episode. For the full episode, do visit my website and do listen to my podcast today. Okay, so to end up today's weekend classroom, these are the links of my various social media. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And you can definitely visit my website, that is ispharmacologydifficult.com, for all the podcast episodes till date. So, in the end, I would like all of you to stay informed, stay illuminated, stay at home, stay safe. Thank you.